Hello everybody, and welcome to Wounded Healer Tarot. My name is James, and I'll be doing your reading today. This particular reading is for the sign of Aquarius. Now, to get right to it, in the position of what materials you are working with, we have breath. Oops. Now, okay, with breath, right, this could be speaking to your literal breath, because there's no more direct way to practice alchemy than to study breath, right? We all have access to it. It occurs at every single moment, gracing us with the gift of existence upon this physical plane. It serves as a sort of bridge between the physical and the mystical, and that would make a lot of sense because there's breath work is involved in a lot of spiritual practices, right? Especially things like meditation, where you really need to connect with the self, which then helps you to better connect with the universe. Like, everything is connected. Your consciousness is connected to your breath. So with that, I kind of get, you may honestly even be getting into breath work or something like that at this time, or very soon. This could possibly even spark that sort of interest. Now, in the position of what energy is currently influencing you, we have Aletheia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly. Probably not. Whoops. Alright, so this card, in a sense, speaks to the contagiousness of truth, right? When we hear someone speak the truth, we see the truth within ourselves and are more likely to tell our own story. You're required. This card is sort of like a signal, in a sense. Okay, for a required step toward an act of truth. Maybe there's a conversation that you've been needing to have, a gesture that you've been wanting to, or been feeling called to make. And it could even be a poetic act. It could even be something as simple as a writing down of poetry. Like, you could be a writer. So for you, a gesture could be a poem that you wrote for somebody. But either way, okay, it is very interesting to think about the fact that, it is said that the resonance of our voice changes when we lie. That's a certain tell for some people. Like, the tone of their voice, the sound of their voice changes. So, if you think about it in such a light, right, you can maybe try to practice seeing truth as a vibration, as opposed to a thing or something that is spoken. Now, for the energy that you are currently embodying here, we have Hawk. Now, when this card appears, okay, fate has its eyes on you, and there will be a message that will change whatever course you're currently on. You could think of the hawk as a messenger of sorts. There's a message riding on its wings, even. There are so many different phrases, different ways of saying such a thing, right? You could look at the hawk as a divine messenger of sorts, right? There's something coming your way. And I feel like you feel it, right? And that, to me, goes back to that whole, how I was just saying, to sort of view truth as a vibration. I feel like with that, right, you can feel whatever message this is coming towards you. You can feel that it's on its way. You know what I mean? I hope so. All right, now in the position of what you need to know. First up here we have the Father of Swords, aka the King of Swords. This gives me the vibe that you're working on your perception, okay? Learning how to remove yourself from situations emotionally in order to make more fair decisions. And I feel like that whole like seeing truth as a vibration thing is sort of contributing to that, the change of perception. Now, next up, we have the Two of Cups. With this, I get the vibe of you getting closer to yourself, deepening your connection with yourself, helping you to be more reliable and more honest when it comes to both you and others, thus deepening your ability to blah, blah, words, thus deepening your ability to connect with others, right? Because it's like that saying, you can only meet others as deeply as you can meet yourself. So, if you can really genuinely connect deeper with yourself, that will allow you to connect deeper with others. Now, next up here, we have the Wheel of Fortune. This card is connected to the Hawk, in my opinion. Speaking of a fated change of course, something that you'd least expect. The Wheel of Fortune is here to let you know that no matter what happens to you during this time, know that it's bringing you closer to your life's purpose. Now, lastly, we have the Hanged Man. This card implies that there's a sacrifice or a difficult and or a painful situation coming up in your life. Though you'll naturally want to resist and struggle through it, it would behoove you to find stillness and utilize your new perspective, right? Because when you look at like the Hanged Man in every version, whether it's a creature or a human, they're hanging upside down, right? They're seeing the situation from a different point of view. And this to me really goes hand in hand with this Father of Swords here, You're, as I said, you're working on your perception. And with the Hanged Man, your perception has been changed. And then to also have the Wheel of Fortune before that, right? It's like the universe is on your side. Whatever happens from this point is fated. And I feel like you're beginning to understand that because, this closer, better connection with yourself is allowing you, that connection to the universe and to realize how things are changing for you. And that, maybe sacrifice, it sounds intense, right? You hear the word sacrifice and you think of some really extreme things, but sacrifice doesn't have to be extreme. Sacrifice in this case could be, just letting go of a particular way of doing things and changing that up, right? And I mean, with how we have the two cards, the Hawk and the Wheel of Fortune, speaking of fate, like you can maybe possibly even start to see how things are working out in a particular way to bring you to a particular thing, and you can start to feel your connection to that, right? You can start feeling like, maybe this is what I was really meant to be doing. Maybe this is what I'm really meant to be learning and spending my time, working on here. But in order to even be able to realize that, you have to change the way you think, change the way you see things. And I feel like, with the Father of Swords speaking about, removing yourself from situations emotionally so that you can have a better, perception, make, more fair judgments, decisions on situations. Excuse me. I feel like that's what was necessary here for you to get to this Hanged Man position and see, that things need to change. Something needs to change. You need to let go of something in order to bring in something else that's going to be more beneficial to you and your life in general. But I feel like, this all starts with you and your connection to yourself. Now, I feel like that can also tie in here with the breath card, because how do you connect with yourself? Through your breath, through breath work even, and meditate. As I was saying, in meditation, it's all about your breathing. You have to focus on your breathing to keep you in that moment and take you out of your surroundings, right? And then with Aletheia speaking about, the truth and seeing it as that little tidbit about, seeing truth as a vibration as opposed to something that is being spoken, taking the physicality out of it and really connecting to it spiritually, being able to feel when somebody is telling the truth instead of having to use your mind, use your logic mind even to, sit there and try to assess it from that mental perspective. All right, Aquarius, these are the messages that I have for you today. I do hope they serve you well. Be gentle with yourself, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye now.